you look back and you will go, if only this me could go and tell the 25-year-old me this, then I could have saved so much energy, because I would have said, oh, don't do this, don't worry about that, or you should be thinking about this. That's one side of it, okay? The old me now going and telling that 25-year-old guy. Here's the problem. That 25-year-old guy will go, who are you to tell me what to do? Leave me alone. I'm doing my own thing and I don't want your advice. And that's exactly what happens and exactly what would happen. You know, I took a lot of advice. I spoke to a lot of great people along the way. I had so much help. I haven't got here on my own, but I know that that is the answer to the question, that if you went back in time to talk to yourself, you wouldn't listen to yourself, because it takes that kind of confidence and arrogance to actually get through all of those rejections and all of those problems and fight that battle. You don't want to listen to anybody. You've got to keep going the way that you want to go to make that thing happen. I'm here because I have no choice. I have to do this. It's my life. This is life and death to me. And if I'm not here doing this, I'm not going to be doing anything, because I'll be dead. A lot of bands that kind of get to a certain level, they give it everything to absolutely, perhaps obsessive, to the detriment of any normal life that you could possibly have. People will obsessively get themselves involved in their music, their songwriting, and their band. Now, because of social media, you have a place to express that instantly, that you never had before, with no one's interpretation. So, whereas before, in an interview, you could only trust being on the radio or the TV, because all the print journalism, they could spin it, they could misquote you, they could make you look a certain way that you're absolutely not or never intended to be, take something out of context that you can't do on radio or in an interview like this. But now I can anyway, I don't speak for anybody else, now I can directly communicate with my fans and say, great show tonight, guys, thank you so much for that. What an incredible thing. Thank you for your support. Thank you for making it possible for me to continue to live my dream of being a professional heavy metal singer. It's heavy metal. It's not the most popular music in the world anymore. That was the 1980s. You know, now other music is popular. But here I am, making my living as a heavy metal singer, because my fans can support me. They can find out about me through social media. They don't need to go and buy a magazine or look, oh, has it got an interview now, or anything like that. Sometimes I am in magazines, and that's great. But I can communicate with my fans anytime through that social media, and it's very liberating. It's liberating, and it's also a responsibility that you can't mess about. You know, you've got to respect people. But for me, social media, as an underground artist, which I am, I've been in the biggest band in the world, in heavy metal, in one of the greatest legends of metal. I've been at the very top, playing to thousands of people every night. I loved it, I enjoyed it. Now I'm doing something else. I'm playing to hundreds of people every night.
It's just meaningful to you?
Yeah, well, it's more meaningful in a way. If I'm playing to a few hundred people that I can connect with and engage with my song, that is an incredible experience. And it's because it's smaller, it's not less important, because as individuals, we've both shared this experience. And just, you know, the physics of it, when you go to a big concert, it's a spectacle. That's what you're going to see. You're not getting a big connection with the artist. You're seeing somebody that big and on a big TV screen.
If I may ask you, what was it like for you personally leaving Iron Maiden?
I think it was certainly a shock. I never expected that. It was, in the end, I think, more of a business decision than anything else. CD sales around the world, physical copies of music were just dying because of, online bootlegs and piracy, and now then iTunes coming and things like this. Heavy metal itself was crumbling. We were taking a battering from grunge. But of course, those grunge guys aren't tough like we are. We're metal, and we just have to keep going because we're a machine. Metal, it's a machine. And those bands were still doing it. Maiden and Kiss and Saxon and Dee Snider, the Twisted Sister guys, that we're still doing it because we were doing it then because we were the machine that had to keep going because we loved it, not because we were in so much pain, but because we loved doing it. We were doing it for those reasons. So it was a shock to leave Iron Maiden. It was an absolute shock, But CD sales are gone. There's no interest now in the band. Things are going down. And they wanted a reunion. The record company wanted a reunion. At that time, Deep Purple had a reunion. So Bruce had to come back. The odd thing is, Bruce is such a lovely, lovely bloke. And he's always been very supportive of my career. We met before Maiden. I knew him before I was involved in Maiden, and after, he's been very kind to me. But it was a difference. It was like any big thing that you lose. It's grief. It's a thing an adjustment to make. But playing to smaller audiences, that's not an adjustment, because I've always been doing it because I love to sing. And so if I'm performing, it doesn't matter to me if it's a few hundred people or thousands of people. So that's a different thing. That's not a shock. When you come to the Bayley concert, you see me like this. You can come and hold my hand and touch me at the front. You can come and shake my hand, hold my hand at every concert. The meet and greet with Bayley is completely free. It's unlimited. And sometimes that's 500 people. Sometimes it's 75 people. But they're all important, and I signed for every single one. And it doesn't matter that I'm not on TV, that I'm not in magazines. It's completely irrelevant because my fans come to see me. They find out about me through social media. Social media now in my life is mostly a blessing, and it's something that is good for me. But I come from a place where there was no social media. I come from a place where there was no mobile phones, where there were no laptops, where there was no internet at all. And the only way to communicate what you did was to ask, plead, beg a journalist to come to your show and review your band and hope that they said something favourable about you in a newspaper or magazine. So whatever you did was interpreted by someone else. And as a fan, you had to read between the lines or trust a journalist, find out the writers who like the similar kind of things that you do. Now, with social media, I can put a clip of my performance live from tonight on stage while I'm doing it. And people can find that. That's amazing. It's amazing. Maybe it's 5 people, but it's 5 people that you wouldn't have got to, and you don't need to ask anybody about it. You don't need anyone's permission. You haven't got to say, oh, please come to and see me, or we're going to be the next big thing. That's it. You could do it yourself. And so the world is different. The way that you can promote yourself is different now, but it also asks different questions of you as an artist. And these questions are big and very difficult for you to deal with, because you have to start facing a reality that is nothing to do with the dream that you started with, and nothing to do with the romance that you start out with, the idealism that you start out with as a young band. I'll learn to play, I'll get on the stage, everyone will love me because look, other people on the stage, everybody loves them. That's not how it is at all. What it really is, why does anybody want to know about your band? What's so great about you as an artist that will actually make anybody interested in you? It's not enough that you're a good guitarist. It's not enough that you're a good singer. It's not enough that you write a good song. What is it that's going to really make people want to see you, that want to be a part of your story? Because that's what we have now. You can become a part of the story of the artist. And for me as an artist, that's an incredible thing, because I like people. And I like meeting my fans, and my fans will talk to me at a concert. Oh, I really like this part of your voice, or they'll send me an email, or on social media, they'll send me a little message on Instagram or Facebook and say, I really like this part of your voice. I really like that. And it'll make me think, oh, I never thought about that as an interesting part of my voice or my performance. But it makes me think, you know what, maybe I should think more about that. And it really changes me. And that interaction, that direct relationship that I'm able to have now with fans from around the world is really good. Before, you could only have that with fans locally. When we were starting out in Wolfsbane, of course you always met your fans. They were just right there in front of you. Who do you think you are if you're going to ignore people? You know, you don't get very far in the UK. I can tell you, if you start ignoring people, if you're acting like a rock star, you're never going to be one. I have never wanted to be famous for the sake of being famous, like we have now, TV celebrities and people from Big Brother and reality shows and things like this, to be famous for just because they're famous. For me, it's always been about the music, and it's always been about trying to write something important that would be important for me, that I could look back on and hold on to. So even the most cheesy lyric and cheesy song that I've ever been involved with is still something I can look back on and go, you know what? When I wrote that, I meant it, and I'm still proud of it because that was good work when I did it. It's something I can hold on to. So dressing the part was just really following on with that. Well, this is how I feel. You know, this is how I dress. But the most important thing I want people to know me for is my songs and my music and all of that. So if you're just going to dress the part, you're going to get somewhere. And you're going to get there, and then when people come and see you, and you're not that good, or most of it is going to be on tape, then you're not going to hold their interest, and you're going to go back to just being someone who dressed up. But if you actually got something to offer, if you've got some good songs, if you've worked hard, and if you're a reasonable musician and you found a way to put your ideas and music together, then perhaps you're going to be someone who dressed up and they've got this really catchy song, or they've got this great attitude, or something like that. So I think that's the difference. Perhaps it gives people the illusion that you will be famous because you look famous. But there is another side to it. It is show business. So there is a part of that. And really, I come from this era of Kiss, Twisted Sister, and when bands used to dress up and all of that, and I like it. When people have an attitude and dress up, I like it much more than what we had in grunge, where people wore clothes that hadn't been washed properly and looked at their feet. After Iron Maiden, it gave me a great opportunity to start my solo career. Being famous is not really worth anything. It's not important. It's something that is like a cold beer on a hot day. It feels good while the sun is out, but the longer you hold on to it and try and keep that beer as it is, the less delicious it will taste. And enjoy it while it lasts, but it's not the most important thing. Being famous is not important. Being famous doesn't make you a good person. It's important to be a good person and get along with people. It's not important to be famous. So that's how I think of it. I really think, for me, it's important to sing. And the only good side of being famous for that is the fact that, maybe people will recognise the name and perhaps they may think I'm worth seeing. They may come to my concert because they've heard of me. But it's not really worth anything more than that to me. I can walk around most places now and hardly be recognised. In some countries, I can't walk anywhere without being recognised. But at home in the UK, I can go just about anywhere and not be recognised. If I go to a heavy metal place, everybody knows me. So that's it. If I avoid heavy metal places, I can avoid being famous. And it's a really nice thing. When people are movie star famous and TV star famous, that's a whole different level. And then people really want to know what's in your trash and what tattoo you have on your bum.
Thanks for watching. My name is Daniel Sarkisian. I'm an independent filmmaker from Toronto.